why are people suddenly talking about shotgun houses again? At first glance, the shotgun house may seem too narrow, too simple, and too old-fashioned for modern living. But this historic housing type is attracting renewed attention because its compact footprint, straightforward layout, and strong connection to outdoor spaces can align surprisingly well with today's interest in smaller and more efficient homes. The important point is that the shotgun house is not a new invention or a trendy architectural experiment. It is a traditional house type with deep roots in the American South, particularly in cities such as New Orleans, where many examples became an important part of the urban architectural landscape. Today, architects and homeowners are not necessarily trying to recreate every detail of an old shotgun house. Instead, they are asking a more interesting question: what can this old housing model teach us about living well in a smaller space? Modern homeowners are increasingly aware that square footage alone does not determine whether a house feels comfortable. A carefully planned small home can feel much larger when circulation, storage, windows, ceiling height, and furniture placement are handled correctly. The linear organization of a shotgun house can make the relationship between rooms easy to understand. Instead of a maze of hallways, the rooms themselves can become the circulation system. That can be particularly useful in a small house, where every square foot has to serve a purpose. One of the most recognizable elements of many shotgun houses is the front porch. Historically, porches could provide shade, outdoor sitting space, and a transition between the street and the interior. In a modern version, the porch can become an extension of the living area without requiring the homeowner to fully enclose additional square footage. That makes the porch especially valuable in climates where outdoor living is comfortable for much of the year. However, porch design should still respond to local weather, drainage, structural requirements, insects, and maintenance considerations. One reason shotgun houses are being rediscovered is the broader interest in smaller, more efficient homes. A smaller footprint can potentially reduce the amount of material required for foundations, framing, roofing, exterior walls, insulation, and interior finishes. But smaller does not automatically mean cheaper. Labor rates, site conditions, permits, utility connections, structural repairs, material choices, and local building requirements can have a major effect on the final cost. This is especially important when renovating an older shotgun house, because the visible charm of the exterior may hide significant work behind the walls. Older homes can contain outdated electrical systems, plumbing, roofing, insulation, windows, foundations, or structural components. A responsible renovation begins with inspection rather than simply choosing paint colors and furniture. Moisture is another important concern, especially in older homes with raised foundations, crawl spaces, aging roofs, or poor drainage. Historic wood structures can also require careful evaluation for rot, termites, settlement, and other conditions before major remodeling begins. The goal is not simply to make the house look modern, but to make it safer, more durable, and more comfortable while respecting its original character. The kitchen is where a compact layout can become particularly interesting. A narrow kitchen does not necessarily require sacrificing functionality if cabinets, appliances, countertops, and circulation are carefully arranged. A single-wall kitchen can sometimes work even better when the available width is limited. Open shelving can visually reduce the heaviness of cabinetry, although homeowners should consider dust, organization, and everyday maintenance before choosing it. The kitchen should also have adequate ventilation, safe electrical installations, proper clearances, and appliances appropriate for the available space. A newly constructed modern shotgun house can incorporate energy-efficient systems that historic examples obviously did not have. Insulation should be designed for the local climate and building code, rather than simply added without considering moisture and ventilation. Air sealing can also be important because uncontrolled air leakage can affect comfort and energy use. Shading from porches and roof overhangs can help reduce direct solar exposure, particularly in hot climates. Another reason the shotgun house works aesthetically is that its simple shape allows materials to become the main visual expression. Wood siding can reinforce the traditional character, while modern colors can make the house feel contemporary. Brick can also be appropriate in regions where it reflects local building traditions. The key is restraint, because excessive materials and complicated details can work against the simple geometry that makes the house distinctive. The answer depends heavily on lifestyle. A couple or small household may appreciate the compact footprint and lower maintenance demands. A larger family may find the traditional room-to-room circulation and limited private space more challenging. Remote workers may also need to adapt the traditional layout by creating a dedicated office area or flexible room. This is where modern design becomes less about copying the past and more about intelligently adapting it. The renewed interest in shotgun houses does not necessarily mean everyone wants to move into a 19th or early 20th century house. Instead, the revival reflects a broader interest in efficient floor plans, smaller homes, regional architecture, renovation, and indoor-outdoor living. The shotgun house offers a fascinating example of how an old architectural idea can be reconsidered rather than simply preserved as a museum piece. Its limitations are real, but so are its strengths, and perhaps that balance is exactly why the design continues to attract attention. So why are shotgun houses suddenly becoming popular again? Because they represent something many modern homeowners are searching for: less wasted space, stronger outdoor connections, practical proportions, architectural character, and a simpler way to live. They also remind us that good architecture does not always require a large footprint or an elaborate floor plan. Of course, a historic shotgun house should be evaluated carefully before purchase or renovation, and local building codes, preservation requirements, structural conditions, and construction costs all matter. But when thoughtfully restored or carefully reinterpreted, the shotgun house can offer a unique combination of history and modern practicality. Perhaps the real lesson is that not everyone should live in a shotgun house. It is that some of the smartest ideas in home design are not always new.
Sometimes the future of housing can be found by looking carefully at what already worked in the past.